Welcome back to the boardroom. Take a seat, pretend you're listening. On the docket today, man, why posting your spouse online is unbelievably cringe. And I stand on that. This is a hill I'm willing to die on, okay? Because apparently, love isn't real unless it's been filtered several times through an Instagram story, okay? We get it, man. We get that you have a partner. You don't need to post their face every time you breathe, dude. I mean, do you not understand the optics? Do you get that that looks absurd? It's like forcing PDA on everybody. You might not be full blown spit swapping, you get me? But it's like, dude, we understand, especially if there's been a length of time you guys have been together. Pump the brakes. Pump the brakes, okay? Because nobody is hitting follow to watch your marriage or watch your relationship unfold like a Netflix special, an original. Nobody follows for that. You might know people personally, friends, family, coworkers, fellow students, where nobody is following for that. Okay, no, nobody cares, man. Nobody wants to see that all the time. And at the end of the day, it's literally just a validation loop if you really think about it, because there comes a point where you're not even loving your spouse. Do you see what I'm saying? You're loving the likes that you get for having one. You're in love with the validation of what others think of your relationship. Behind closed doors, it could be terrible, but it looks good on Instagram and you love this. So cute. Oh my God, you guys are perfect. You love all the comments and all the likes, and you start judging your relationship based on the validation of others. Man, let's not lie to each other. And it just gives off this vibe of overcompensation. Really, truly, because if it's solid, why do you need 42 posts a week proving it? Why? If it's as solid as you claim, you wouldn't feel the need to share it 24/7. Okay? And you've got the caption crimes as well, dude. Not only are the pictures themselves and how often they're posted cringe, but the captions, dude, are unbelievably corny, just ridiculously gay, dude. I'm telling you, because couples who call themselves my person online, dude, you're already halfway to divorce court. I'm gonna just keep it a band with you. And part of the problem is just TMI, dude. Too much information. I don't care to see your spouse across from you eating their Belgian waffles and sliced strawberries. I don't need that. I don't need to see a picture of the two of you brushing your teeth and Jack and Jill sing. Like, dude, it's so unnecessary. And the data does not lie. The science doesn't lie. There has been studies that show couples who post constantly, couple photos are the least likely to last. You understand that? Because the translation is the more you share, the more you're compensating, the more you're seeking validation for your relationship. Because marriage is not content. At the end of the day, it's not, dude. And if you treat it like content, then don't be shocked when people binge and then they unsubscribe. They follow for the highs, and then as soon as you start going through shit, it's like, well, I'm out. Saw that one coming. You see what I'm saying? You don't want to be a show for other people and do things for other people or what you think they think. Do you see what I'm saying? Oversharing cancels out intimacy. That's one of the biggest problems, because it's just public performance dressed up as romance. You want the comments like, oh, they are so madly in love. You guys, I can see the way you look into each other's eyes. It's just performance. It's for show. But they say it's romance. I'm just so in love. I have to photo dump. You know what I mean? Come on, man. We're not buying it. We know that's not true, dude. Just keep it to yourself, because the private couples at the end of the day, they last longer. Notice the couples who don't post, who aren't constantly on social media seeking the validation of complete strangers, or maybe not strangers, but just other people, they last the longest. They do. And it's not out of just, oh, why are you hiding that person? It's just, dude, it's private, man. Not everything needs to be shared. I covered that in another video on privacy. You don't have to share every waking minute of your life and your life in tandem with another person. It's not necessary. The ones who don't do that, they last the longest. They're the ones who get married and stay married, okay? Because what happens in their relationship matters to them. It doesn't matter what other people think. And, some people, they actually start to choose the algorithm over love itself, over the relationship. They care more about the reach that their stories and their posts get than they care about the relationship itself. And that's kind of sick. It's kind of twisted in a way, And I understand that there are exceptions. I will give you this much, right? Maybe a nice engagement photo, maybe a nice wedding or anniversary photo. Every once in a while, sure, man, post a picture. I get that because that's news. That's not a soap opera. It's not every other post you and your spouse doing absolutely nothing. I don't need to see you guys at the fucking pumpkin patch picking out squash, okay? That's not an update. You're just posting your lives, but a milestone like marriage and stuff, I wouldn't go this far, but like the birth of a child, not the child itself, again, privacy, but an ultrasound or something, that's news, man. That's worth sharing. And I totally get that. But every other post of you guys just being normal people, that's so unnecessary, okay? Because if your page is, if it's already about you living a lifestyle, you ski, you snowboard, you go hiking or something, you travel, then okay, your spouse will show up naturally. Maybe you go to France and the two of you are in front of the Eiffel Tower or something. Maybe you guys are on a hike and they're in the background or they're in the foreground or something. I totally get that. Because again, that's an update. Hey, I'm here. Hey, we're doing this. That's an update. But to stage photos of yourself, or worse, even just selfies of the two of you, that's oversharing. That's too much, okay? And sometimes it's just a way for people to flex as well. If you got dressed up fancy for something, then post it once. I guess that's fine. Maybe you had a nice ass dinner, you felt good about yourself, but you don't have to build a whole like discourse out of it, a whole album. I get it. You were feeling yourself that day. Maybe it was a date for something or an event worth celebrating. Okay, again, there is some nuance to what I'm saying, right? But the bigger issue is that there's a difference between sharing a moment and milking it until it's cringe. I get the wedding photo. What I don't get is a week after that, another wedding photo, and 2 weeks after that, and then a month after that, and then 3 months after that. And you're just posting wedding photos that haven't been posted yet, just milking it. And each one has an absurdly long caption about how this is your twin flame and soulmate, and just can't live without them. Yeah, that's ridiculous, dude. And it creates a problem of permanence. Okay, because there's the breakup purge. We've all seen this. Come on, man. You post them every day for 6 months and then suddenly they're gone. Every post has been deleted, right? We've all seen this. Like they got Thanos snapped right out of your timeline. Come on, dude. And then the next cycle, right? The next month, new partner, same caption, still the love of my life, still my person. I can't live without him, right? And then they're gone. Rinse and repeat, okay? And it's just these awkward archives. And everybody sees this because you post it for everybody to see, right? Where everyone remembers the fact that you said forever, right? 3 partners ago, and then you say that for all of the new ones. Like there's digital receipts, right? You might delete the pictures, but the internet never forgets, okay? People can find it if they want to find it. And your ex's cousin definitely screenshotted it. So these are some of the things you got to think about, man. And then plus the emotional whiplash that comes from this, your followers, they don't need to feel like they're stuck on a relationship roller coaster where you're you're at the highs and you're posting every day, and then you delete them and you're in your lows, and then you're posting black screen stories with sad quotes and emo music and shit like that. Oh, and I found somebody else and they're my partner. And it's just like, dude, eventually, even the people that know you are like, yeah, she's just a nut, right? And one of the biggest issues from all of it, yes, it's cringe, it's corny, I hate it. But again, my number one issue is just you're oversharing, dude. It's too revealing. At the end of the day, every time you post, you're opening up your relationship to outside energy. And most people online, they don't want the best for you if you believe in things like the evil eye and stuff. And this is not like idolatry. I'm not getting into all of that. It's just energy, man. That's it. Somebody might have animosity towards you and your relationship. They might have jealousy towards you and your relationship. They don't want you and your relationship to succeed. And in a way that can translate through your need, your desire to overshare, okay? Because it might actually be something good, but forces exist beyond our scope of imagination. There is a veil, depending on what you believe. I'm just speaking for me, but you don't want to invite that kind of energy in, that kind of negativity. You understand? And that's why it's such a big thing for me not to overshare, not to post your entire life and make it public. Man, you don't know the intentions of others and what they want or what they don't want for you to achieve. Anybody can smile in your face and then behind your back plot. And that's just the truth. And you also start to fall into the validation addiction through oversharing. You know what I mean? Because if you really loved your spouse, and I mean truly, maybe you would just love your spouse. That, I know it sounds crazy, sounds like a revolutionary concept, but maybe instead of begging strangers to clap to it, you just enjoyed each other. How about that? And another issue is that comparison kills. It really does. Comparison is the thief of joy. We all understand, and we've all heard that saying before, because oversharing doesn't just hurt you. You got to think about others. Let's not be selfish here. It makes everyone else feel like their relationship doesn't measure up or is inadequate. And this might not be your intention, but it could be a cause of what you're sharing. It's seemingly so perfect that somebody might look at their situation and say, well, why isn't mine like that? And then unintentionally, you've created an issue for somebody else, because fake highlight reels, they ruin real people and real relationships, and maybe you have found yourself comparing yourself to somebody else. So you know what I'm talking about, because privacy equals protection. At the end of the day, it's not to be secretive. It's not to scheme. It's not to hide anything. It's to protect what's yours, for lack of a better term. Not everything has to be public consumption, public information. In fact, the best parts of life usually aren't, and it should stay that way. Because you don't walk down the street carrying your bank card over your head for the world to see. You value it, so you protect it. You keep it tucked away in a wallet, in a purse. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it now feels like romance has become theater in a way, where oversharing is basically running a marketing campaign for your relationship and seeing how the critics feel about it. The critics being your friends, family, and strangers online. And that's not love, man. That's PR and performance. That's all it is. And with that comes a lack of boundaries when you share everything. Because when you do, you cheapen it. Of course, some moments deserve to just be yours and your spouse's. And there's joy in knowing that only you guys share in that moment. You don't have to broadcast it for the world, because then it becomes everybody. Yeah, you guys had the moment, but everybody else felt it too. That's why I think this is such an issue beyond it being cringe. Your spouse is not your brand at the end of the day. So stop using them like content or for content. You don't have to prove anything to anyone at the end of the day, you know? And if you do, I don't know, man, maybe that says more about your relationship than the post itself. Okay. But that's what I got for you today. Hit that like button, drop a comment below. Let me know if you agree. Let me know if you've seen the kind of things I'm talking about. I'm sure you have. Everybody has at some point, you know. Subscribe if you haven't already. I really do appreciate it. Thanks for sitting through another one. Meeting adjourned.